Let's talk about issuing credit cards to employees and establishing best practices when issuing those credit cards. My name is Nina, and I'm about to get in your business. If you would like to know more about business operations, you know the drill. Please subscribe to the channel and smash that notification bell so you'll be alerted when new videos are uploaded. Before we discuss issuing employee credit cards, I need to explain what is an employer credit check. Employer credit checks can be used as a way to protect the company and its assets while providing insight into an employee's sense of financial responsibility and stability. Checking an employee's credit history can determine an employee's potential to commit fraud based on financial status. An employer credit check completed for the purposes of employment is called a soft inquiry. Soft inquiries on an individual's credit report does not impact an individual's credit score. And depending on the credit bureau, these soft inquiries may not be recorded in your credit report. Please note that employers will not receive two pieces of information with an employer credit check. One, your company will not see the employee's credit score, nor two, will the employer see account numbers. Soft inquiries may include the following details: number of public records on the report, like bankruptcies, tax liens, and civil judgments; number of accounts that have not been paid and are in collections; number of open accounts like car loans and credit cards; number of accounts that are paid late or have charge-offs; number of trade accounts that are paid according to agreed terms; number of times creditors have requested a credit check. Written consent must be received by the employee or the job applicant prior to performing an employer credit check. Credit checks performed in your company should be backed up by employment policies outlining what job positions are subject to employer credit checks, as well as other scenarios like issuing employee credit cards. Always remember, when conducting employer credit checks, it should be in compliance with the Fair Credit Reporting Act. As of this writing, there are 10 states that limit the use of employment credit checks. As always, please check the laws in the state where your business resides. Now that we've discussed employer credit checks, let's tie that information in with issuing credit cards to employees. If you have an employee that regularly spends hundreds of dollars of his or her personal money on business expenses, travel related to business, or regularly entertains clients, your company may consider issuing that employee a company credit card. If you've watched my video on issuing company credit cards to employers, good or bad idea, you understand the pros and cons of doing this. I'm going to show you some of the steps I use to issue a credit card to an employee while protecting a company like yours. There are at least 4 employment documents that should be signed related to the issuing of employee credit cards. And these documents should have been signed on the first day of employment. One of which should be an authorization for background checks. One of those background checks should include an employer credit check. Regardless of what was signed on the first day, I would still email the employee to inform that individual that an employer credit check will be performed prior to assigning a credit card to that employee. Create company policies that outline when employment credit checks will be required. For example, all employees who are assigned company credit cards will be required to undergo an annual employer credit check. And please use these policies on your most trusted employee as well as you would your newly hired employee. Employers, don't just say you're going to perform the employer credit check. Actually pay that money to a third-party vendor and perform the employer credit check. This will help you determine if giving this employee access to corporate credit will be safe for the company or create a major headache. This information should be discussed in a one-on-one meeting with the employee receiving the company credit card. This includes how the card is to be used, who can authorize purchases, spending limits on the card, what type of spending is prohibited. For example, personal spending of any kind is prohibited on the company card, and a credit card can't be used for any personal emergency. Let employees know that the company credit card can be revoked at any time for any reason. Be sure to answer any questions that employee may have and document the meeting. Request the employee sign additional documentation and keep that documentation in the employee's personnel file. Finally, follow up all of this information in an email and request that the employee respond to that email. Employees should be required to submit, at the minimum, a monthly expense report, including all credit card receipts that outline why the money was spent, who benefited from the expenditure, job number associated with that expense, and any other information that can tie that expense to your company, a company job, or a specific client. Due to the length of this topic, I condensed this video as best as I could. Bumps in the road may require your company to revise its policies on company-issued credit cards, so be prepared to revise any policy immediately and in writing to those employees who are holding credit cards, as well as updating your company's employee handbook. If you have any questions on issuing credit cards to your employees, please don't hesitate to leave your questions in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.